we have some big news regarding the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I think the iPhone 16 Pro will get some major upgrades, even more so than the iPhone 16 Pro Max. For example, both of these phones will get larger displays compared to the iPhone 15 Pro series. The iPhone 16 Pro will get a larger 6.3-inch screen up from 6.1-inch screen. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will have a 6.9-inch display up from 6.7-inch display. Now, this mostly doesn't mean the phones will get taller a lot, but rather the bezels could be even more thinner to make the displays more bigger, if that makes sense. The next one is actually more power efficient displays. The iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max will also have more power efficient OLED displays supplied by Samsung, mostly for battery efficiency, and also the displays are going to be much more brighter. So maybe that's the reason why it has to have a more power efficient OLED panels. Now, Samsung recently launched their Galaxy S24 Ultra with 2600 nits of peak brightness, much more than the 2000 nits of the current iPhone models. So Apple might also just do the same thing or something along those lines. The next is actually a capture button. Now, this is not the same as the action button. This is a totally different button and will be placed in a different place of the phone rather than the place of the action button. What it will do? Well, according to Apple Insider, the speculated new button could incorporate zoom and focus controls. Now, this is not just a standard mechanical button. It would actually be a touch-sensitive too. You can swipe up and down to adjust zoom levels, and half press would be used to focus the shot. You see what I'm trying to say? They're trying to mimic the actual camera feel. Also, the source notes that the capture button is currently undergoing testing on the Standard, Plus, and the Pro models. So it might even arrive to all of them. Or at the end of the day, it might also be only exclusive to the Pro models. But the next one is actually a 48 megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens. The iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max will feature an upgraded 48 megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens for high-resolution photos and more detailed video shooting at 0.5x mode. I mean, this is a very good upgrade. The next is Wi-Fi 7 support. I mean, it should be there because all the latest phones are all coming with Wi-Fi 7 support. Now, this Wi-Fi 7 standard support would enable the devices to send and receive data over 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and 6 GHz bands simultaneously, resulting in faster Wi-Fi speeds, lower latency, and more reliable connectivity. For example, the Wi-Fi 7 is expected to offer a peak data transfer speed of up to 40 gigabits per second, 4 times more than Wi-Fi 6E can. It's a future-proofing thing for sure. The next is A18 Pro chipset. I mean, it's no secret that the chip will get an upgrade, but we currently don't know anything about it except the fact that it will be 3nm process node based, the N3E process node based, but we know that they're going to be a much better improved thermal design inside the 16 Pro models for better heat dissipation and better battery life, I guess. Also, we are hearing that they will have upgraded microphones for generative AI. Now, you might be thinking, why AI is here too? Well, Apple will introduce a lot of AI features or generative AI features with the iOS 18. The 5x zoom camera is also coming to the 16 Pro this time because it's a slightly bigger phone than the last year's model, so Apple have the excuse anyway ready for us, but pretty cool. Now, another thing is that the sensor crop feature might also even arrive to the teleporter camera of both the 16 Pro and Pro Max, which will actually allow it to zoom in even further than that. Means it will have 10x zoom as well. Just like the way the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus has 1x and 2x zoom. The 2x is a lossless sensor crop zoom. As the same kind of technology might also arrive to the 5x camera. That simply means it will be able to zoom 10x without losing any quality. And then there is the digital zoom on top of that 10x. So Apple can allow us to have up to 80x, 90x, or even 100x because Samsung does the same thing. Why not? And if they do that, and if they do 100x, then it will be really interesting to see. Definitely. Now, design-wise though, the 16 Pro and Pro Max, we are not hearing anything big. They might not even have that much big changes in the camera department, the camera array design, which is kind of boring at this point, but the 16 and 16 Plus might get a new design camera housing. It will be vertically placed, kind of like the iPhone 11, but I just don't know how the camera module will look like. We will have to wait and see. Now, iPhone 16 and 16 Plus appears to also get 8GB of RAM and Wi-Fi 6E. Now, iPhone 16 and 16 Plus also tipped to get 8GB of RAM, up from 6GB on the 15 and 15 Plus. Does that make a huge difference? Probably no. And it's also going to have Wi-Fi 6E. Now, the chipset confusion on the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus is still there. We don't know whether it will be powered by the A18 Pro chipset or A18 or A17 Pro. the A17 Pro chipset had its own kind of problems because it was based on a totally exclusive manufacturing process node. So that made it more expensive. And that's why I think it's very simple that Apple will use a 18 Pro chipset and cut certain things like GPU cores and underclock the CPU cores to make a normal A18 chipset and put it inside this iPhone 16 and 16 Plus and call it a day. That's gonna be a simple solution. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? And yes, if you want, you can get some crazy cool wallpapers up on my website. A link down below. Until the next one, bye and take care.